You don't want to describe it because people like, so it's like in between Connecticut
Yeah.
and Massachusetts. Like, yeah, we'll go.
Hey y'all, DFoss here. My goal with this Limitless Theory 360 podcast is to connect you with the very people that have positively impacted my life and will continue to impact thousands of others by providing education-based and actionable techniques to creating a limitless perspective on life. So let's get to it. My guest today is my boy, my brother, my best friend. Shit, we've been through a lot. Everything from Little League Baseball together to high school football and college roommates. And if that doesn't say enough, he's left enough of an imprint on my life and my family's life to have an open door policy and be able to sleep at my crib whenever he wants, even though I live 1,500 miles away. So what's good, E, bro? How you been, man?
What's going on, man? How you doing? Thanks for that nice intro. It was very humbling. Thank you very much for having me on your nice podcast here.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. This is just something that I think I can provide value for people with, and I feel like I'm just trying to connect people with people that have insight and good perspective on life, people that have helped me out. And I can't think of anybody else who has helped change my perspective on life more than you. So,
hey, man, thank you. I appreciate that, and you're changing a lot of lives right now. I was just gonna say that, like, this is a great way, this is a great platform to do it on, because this is like one of the biggest things in today's social network. It's podcasts. Everyone has a podcast. It's crazy.
Yeah, everyone's about doing it, but I don't know that everyone's doing it for the right reasons. But
yeah, I mean, there's a couple of. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's like anything. People are doing it for all sorts of reasons, but
yeah. So there's definitely a good group of podcasts that I like to get into and listen to. I'm sure you have a bunch, and I want to get into that later. Like, list off a couple podcasts that we like, but we can get into that when after we get into a flow.
Yeah, no, I was actually gonna say the same thing. I had that listed down as something to talk about.
Where?
But I know you told me you wanted to flash back to basketball real quick and tell me about this dunk or whatever that I missed.
Oh yeah, no, on Instagram, I didn't send it to you. There's this dunk that I saw. This guy bounced it off the ground and then picked up midair and then bounced it 3 times off of the backboard before he dunked it. It was insane.
What?
Yeah, it was crazy impressive.
One-handed threw it off the backboard 3 times, or was it like a 1, 2, 3?
No, he bounced it with 2 hands off the floor, okay, and then caught it midair, bounced it 3 times off the one hand. Yeah.
One hand.
Right off the backboard. It's crazy.
Did you see the story I put up last night? I was watching replays of the Delonte West to LeBron alley-oop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Delonte West threw up like this crazy no-look left-handed as he was getting fouled alley-oop. LeBron, I think he was probably like 25 at the time.
What year was it? Did it say what year it was in the caption?
It was before he went to Miami, obviously, because he was playing.
What year did he get drafted?
He was an 03 draft with Wade and Melo.
03.
Yeah. He was 18, so he played on the Cavs to what year? 09? What was the big?
Was it 09 or was it 2008?
08 might have been the first year. Might have been the 08-09 season.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. You could double check that. Can you double check that?
Yeah, I could. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, let's do it up. Let's try it.
Yeah, do it. See if it works. not, we can edit this out. Oh, it's working.
So, the decision.
That was crazy. Why would they call it that? They had like an hour-long special on ESPN. I watched
I was
it too.
just gonna say they did make a special. It was 2010. Damn, we were both off.
It aired 2010. Wow. It aired live too. Like,
yeah,
really?
His did you watch the special on it about how his manager, basically his best friend, his high school teammate, is the guy who makes all of his decisions, and he was the one that came up with the idea.
Really?
Yeah. So he caught a ton of heat, and a lot of people were telling LeBron to like kick him to the side. Like, he was like, "Nah, man, that's my best friend. Like, I'm not. He made one bad decision. I think he got me to a pretty good point. So, like,
yeah,
for him to screw up now, I'm not that worried about it."
Yeah, you can hate him all you want. He's definitely a dynamic player, though. I'm not the biggest LeBron fan, but
no,
he's got the talent. He's got the talent to be, named one of the best.
By far. And what's crazy is that random highlight that I saw last night. He jumped from outside the paint at like the third hash mark, caught the ball above his head, brought it between his legs, put his back to the basket, and flushed it. I was like,
ridiculous.
You can't even comprehend how difficult that is. People can't even.
He might not have even been 21 years old yet.
That's valid. He probably in 2006 he was 21. So like Delonte West was there, I'm pretty sure. That's crazy. But
they brought him to the finals in his rookie year, didn't they?
Yes.
Am I making that up?
Eastern Conference Finals.
Eastern Conference.
I think they lost. That's when
don't quote us on this.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. But dude, one thing I did want to ask you, because you're rocking the shirt.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody knows more about Providence than you, bro. What?
That's not a fact, but
yeah,
I appreciate that. Maybe amongst people you know.
Yeah, amongst people I know. Definitely know. What I wanted to chat about though is just like, how has Providence cultivated your kind of like mindset and perspective, and then what does it mean to me, like to you, and not just from a personal level, but like the word Providence and the way it was founded and like what it's known for spiritually. Like, what do you feel like is going on in the city? Because it's definitely something I haven't felt since moving.
Yeah, right. We're definitely sending you the energy from over here. Anybody who was born around here or has any connection to around here, there's always a place back in Providence and in Rhode Island for that person. You know what I mean, bro? So, but yeah, Providence was founded in 1636 by a guy named Roger Williams. He left the Puritans in Massachusetts because he didn't like the construct of their religious beliefs or disbeliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And he came to Rhode Island, and he was basically all about religious freedom. And he started, the first of many churches of all religions are in Rhode Island, and it's the smallest state in the country, and not too many people know about it. People, you tell people you're from Rhode Island, and they think, I've never been to Long Island. It's like, it's not even that's in New York. It's nowhere near here. A couple hours, man.
I had a client ask me today, she was like, "You're from Maine, right? So like, do you fly into Boston and then go to
You're from
Maine, and I was like, I'm from Rhode Island. And like
Maine.
yesterday, my manager, my boss, was like, so you're going home in a couple weeks, right? And I was like, or no, she said you're leaving in a couple weeks, going on vacation. And I was like, yeah. She goes, where are you going? I I'm going back home. She was like, oh yeah, where is that again? And I was like, it's just south of Boston. It's like, you know,
Yeah, you don't want to describe it because people like, so it's like in between Connecticut and Massachusetts. Like, yeah, we'll go with that.
Pretty much. Well, yeah, that's the easy way to explain it.
Yeah.
For me,
So
down
I
here,
went.
it's like the distance from where I live to Miami is basically like 45, 50 miles, which is the same distance from Providence to Boston. So I'm always like, it's similar. You just hop on 95, drive 50 miles. You're there.
Where? So, speaking of like the 1636 thing, I have this thing that I just picked up from a vintage shop, like an antique shop from around here. It's a 1936 commemorative pin, like a stamp, but they like put it in like a kind of a mini plaque type of thing, and it's from like the 300-year anniversary of the settlement of the original colony of Providence, which is pretty dope.
Oh, that's what's up.
So I have one of those. It's chilling in my room. It's pretty cool.
We're 15 years, 17 years out from 400 years.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I never thought of that. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Wow. That's wild.
You know, hopefully the climate will hang around and for us to be there to celebrate that. Because PVD Fest is this weekend. Starts tomorrow night. Thursday night.
I know.
So, you know, hopefully the 400th year anniversary of PVD Fest will be fucking crazy. Legendary.
That'll be off the chain. That'd be dope. That's when everybody we know that's when everybody we know will be running the show 100%.
Hell yeah. Like everyone who's a creative will be at their like, you know, peak, maybe. Hopefully.
Yeah. I was talking to Frank.
It'll just be a culmination of like greatness from Providence and the outer area of Providence.
I mean, there's a lot of to speak more about it, and I think it's such a place of like creation and intuitiveness because of one, the way it was founded, right? You're talking about freedom, not just religious but spiritual, and you know, just the ability to go there and seek out what you wanted and liked.
Yeah.
But it's also home to RISD. It's home to Brown. It's home to
a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, just so many different things that seem to bring the best out of people.
I feel you on that. It's like kind of like the energy of that thinking, you know, stuck around on the land, and then when you start, you know, as you're a kid, you have this, you know, light energy, and your connection with that is, you know, a lot easier than it is when you become, you know, an adult, and then you have to tap into it at your own rate, like as you are out of whatever is holding it, whether it be school or, you know, work or whatever. But yeah, I think that energy is here and, you know, embedded in the soil and the earth and the rocks and all that stuff. And I think it's a special thing. I think every time, I mean, I don't leave often, but, you know, every time I leave and then come back, it's a different, you know, it's definitely a different energy. It's a different air. You know, even when we were in college in Massachusetts, we were one state away in 45 minutes, and, you know, the air felt different. The energy felt different. You know, it's definitely special.
There was nothing better than that drive back into Providence, bro. That view.
Seeing the skyline, man, the Superman building, the Industrial Trust building, man. That's it's a special thing.
Yo, and I think we gotta have. I mean, you're gonna be a very frequent guest on the podcast for sure, but
word for sure. Yo, does this podcast have a name?
Yeah, LT360.
Have a name yet?
LT360.
LT360. I like that.
Limitless Theory
Like that.
360.
Yeah, I got it.
Because I think in terms of life, and as I mentioned before, it's just kind of trying to build that perspective, that limitless perspective on life, cultivating the ability to look at opportunities and look at scenarios and make the best of it. And that takes a full-hearted person, that takes mind, body, and soul, that takes a lot of different awareness and consciousness. And if you are lacking on any of that, you're going to feel some energy that gets lost. So LT360 is what I'm going with, just to create that full life circle, that full energy, that full encapsulation of knowledge and applicable stuff to help people out.
I like that.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. It's going to be cool. I'm excited. Just because this is part of it, and it's only going to get better from here. It's only going to go up, and I have so many connections and so many people that I'm excited to have on the podcast that have so much good information and good perspective to share. So it's like you said before, it's a good platform for not only me, but people like you,
everybody,
and anybody who wants to share a brand or an idea. It's a great place to do it. So
speaking of that, I need to shout out, you mentioned the shirt. This is from Stay Silent, that group. They put together events, whether it be dance, different, like they have an R&B night that they have at clubs. They have kind of a more mashup of different genres and styles of music called Bounce House. They do that at clubs, and then they have like a brunch / dance party type thing called Eggs Over, and then they do like a music festival called Daytro. Like they have a bunch of DJs lined up, and they just spin sets. It's just a good vibe in general, and that's coming up on June 29th. It's going to be pretty dope. June in Providence is pretty jam-packed with some cool events. Honestly, it's definitely a dope time to be living here, be at an age where you can appreciate stuff like that,
Yeah, and I'm bummed to miss PVD Fest because...
Yeah, man, you're coming like 10 days later.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I've been the last 2 years. What's funny is
last year was so amazing. It was a real fun time.
It was such a good time. Well, we had a good group there. It was like 7 or 8.
It was something special.
That was
something special.
That's our crew, though. That's like our consistent.
That's like the family vibe crew. Like that's like the.
I couldn't have said it better. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's no need to pretend. It's just very lax. It's funny. It's laughs. It's jokes. It's like
for sure.
And it's high quality conversation. It's not just like stupid nonsense. There's always something methodical and something like intuitive and logical going on behind the scenes, which I love.
Right. I'm looking forward to those different like spa rooms and stuff. That's gonna be pretty dope.
Yeah, man.
Like the Himalayan salt room and stuff. Like that's gonna be dope time. It's gonna be chill.
So
get the energies going right,
From what I know, they have saunas, they have crystal rooms, they have Himalayan salt rooms, and a steam room. So I believe they
sounds pretty dope.
That. And they also offer massages, but I think that's a different service. And I'm
probably
I talked to Olivia, and she had mentioned that she had been there. And
oh, really?
Yeah, she said it was off the charts. She said it was unbelievable. I was like, yo, me.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, you guys are definitely going to love it. No doubt.
Yeah, I see her story all the time, and she, just got the yoga mat out, and she's, doing yoga by the sunset or whatever.
Vibing.
Seems pretty chill.
It's dude, Did I tell you I started doing yoga on Sunday mornings at the beach? They do yoga by donation. It's half a
Oh
mile
yeah.
from the crib. So I just wake up, hop on the bike, pedal down there. I bring a yoga mat and my bathing suit, and that's literally it. In
Nice.
a water bottle. And there was like 60 people there the other day, bro.
For real?
Yeah, it was a big group. The first weekend I went, it was about 45 people probably, but they had 60 people there, and it's all ages. It's really cool. It's not like super advanced vinyasa, but it's dope because it's at 9 in the morning, so the sun is beating down on you. You don't have to wake up
Word.
extremely early on
Yo.
Sunday. And then I just,
Word. Yo, dude.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Finish it.
Uh,
Finish it before I add something.
So it feels so good to wake up and have the sun just beating on you and just stretching out like that. And then
Word.
I just walk down to the water. I jump in the water, and for like 5-10 minutes, I just absorb all that energy, grounding with the sand and with the water and taking deep
Yeah.
breaths. Dude, it's such a feel good for like 2 hours of my day. It's awesome.
Word. I was gonna say, yo, do you feel like with the you mentioned like there were 60 people there? Do you share the belief that there's like a collective consciousness when you get into like a situation like that, like whether it be like a crowd in a ball game, creating momentum for the team or whatever or what have you, you know what I mean, or like a concert or they have those festivals where it's like a bunch of EDM music and stuff like that. Do you believe in that, like churches?
Yeah, man. I think
It's a wide belief,
I think energy is very, very contagious. And I think a big
communal.
part of it between us as people is the fact that we're social beings, right? And you used to tell me that all the time. We used to talk about that all the time. Was like,
Yeah.
we're meant to be in social situations, and a lot of people nowadays struggle with that because of the ability to just tap into the hardwire, right? And
On their phone, man. It's just like it's so convenient that they don't need to actually get the physical
yeah,
contact that's actually needed involved in human contact.
they get the mental stimulation of connection without having to feel the physical restraints and the physical feelings of connection, which is
Yeah.
a totally different ballgame. I mean, when people like the feeling of I have butterflies in my stomach, right? When you're like in high school or in middle school, you're going on.
Yeah, meeting somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, like that is real deal. That's energy. That's the microbe and the flora in your gut actually moving around and being tuned into that quantum field energy that's being bounced back and forth. That aura.
Well, that's interesting. I never knew anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like that, to think that people get that feeling off of getting likes on like Instagram or whatever, like that's crazy.
Endorphins.
When they get a notification, they get like their stomach drops. Like it's just a text from your middle school crush or whatever. Like what the fuck? What's the world coming to, man?
It's crazy. One thing that somebody told me in high school, and for the last, it might have been after the year of Anna Maria, actually. I was chilling with somebody.
Word.
And she was like, you should turn off your post notifications or like any notifications from anything besides like a text message or a phone call. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, turn off all your notifications, anything but texts and phone calls. They like, don't even have them pop up on the outside of your phone. And that way.
I have that. Well, actually, no, I don't have that. I have it for the inside of my phone.
Okay, yeah.
Like if I'm on my phone doing something, it's not going to tell me that something's going on. But like if I do have my phone closed, it'll pop up like with something.
Yeah, so on the outside of my phone, if I look at it, the only things that are there are text messages, emails, and phone calls.
Yeah, see, I don't even have email on my phone. I don't have Twitter on my phone, so like if I wanted to, I would have to go like through the internet to get to that. And then I barely use Snapchat. It's just sitting there. Being a ghost.
I deleted mine a long time ago, but I use Facebook.
Just chilling there.
And my email.
I get like people sending me stuff every once in a while. That's still use it.
My emails I keep up there just because now, like working with clients.
I mean, you're more business oriented. Yeah. I'm not very business oriented right now. If I had like a business, I would totally have it on my phone.
I mean, there's a lot of opportunity with it. But the other thing I wanted to let you know is I am becoming officially licensed as an athletic trainer in the state of Florida.
Word. Congratulations, my man.
So I'm excited about that. And then with that licensure, I'll be nationally certified. I'll be licensed to practice here specifically. And I also got my Florida license, so like driver's license. So I'm officially a Floridian.
Oh, you're officially a Floridian. You were riding dirty with a Rhode Island license on you?
I was riding dirty for a couple months.
You weren't a real Floridian.
But now I am also working on becoming a Nutrimetrics health professional with my company. So Nutrimetrics.
Break that word down, my man.
Nutrimetrics, nutrient, and metrics meaning being able to provide a mathematical diagnosis, like a metric, right? Like there's a way to it. There's a mathematical substance to it. And that's what we're doing with Nutrimetrics and Isotonics, is basically collaborating with health professionals and people that are passionate about health to change the healthcare system, because we all know that it's not going in the right direction. We know it's not healthcare, it's sick care.
Definitely not.
Yeah, we're not preventing any diseases, but what we're trying to do is provide lifestyle-based medicine opportunities to health professionals so that they can institute those into their practice, get better patient outcomes, and not have to rely on insurance reimbursements for money that take months to come through and sometimes don't even pay out because insurance is a scam. We all know that. They're not trying to pay anybody, whether it's life insurance, whether it's health insurance, car insurance. They're trying to stay on.
So is the medical. When you're talking about the medical, so is the medical. Big pharma is not the way.
Exactly. It's the same exact thing. And the opioid epidemic is through the roof. And we have people that work with us. We have health professionals that are talking in the White House. They're talking in the Pentagon about nutrametrics. And they're basically offering these things up as possible solutions for the opioid epidemic, because you can stimulate somebody's nervous system and give them that dopamine effect with nutrients.
For sure. There's tons of like natural, medicines that you can use.
Yeah, exactly.
I hear you on that, bro.
And then I don't know if I told you yet either, my research project right now that I'm doing for my master's in nutrition, I'm writing the proposal paper right now, and that's going to be a proposal on the ability to test Pycnogenol, which is the most studied extract on the supplement market, and its ability to decrease inflammation markers in the body. So we know that things like heart disease, things like diabetes, and cancer are all caused by inflammation and acidity in the body. And those are the three major killers in the U.S. So it's really applicable to the field to be able to see if this extract from France can potentially decrease inflammation markers in the body with people who don't change their dietary lifestyle, but just implement.
Yeah.
So I'm really stoked to do that. That's going to be cool. It'll be interesting.
I'm sure that'll be very interesting. I know you'll be definitely diving deep into that.
Yeah.
That's right up your alley,
I'm going to be a little nerdy on that one for sure. The other thing I wanted to dive into in terms of decreasing inflammation, I think you might have done so already, while
What is that, sir?
on the podcast. Is that
And before the podcast.
yeah? Is that CBD pen?
No, that is not a CBD pen. That is a THC pen.
Okay.
It's indica though, so it's
Indica.
definitely calming me down a bit.
Okay, can you? I know before you completely educated me on all this. What is the difference? Can you explain the difference between an indica and a sativa?
Yeah, I mean they're kind of just like the two genuses of the cannabis plant. There's actually three. There's ruderalis, which grows naturally, and it's kind of like I would say like a hybrid of maybe the both, but more of a wild strain of it. And then there's sativa, and then there's indica, and then there's a hybrid. Now, indica is a small, like shorter, stockier plant with like fatter leaves,
Okay.
and then the sativa is like a longer, stalkier type. And they like when the buds get heavy, they like hang over, and the leaves they're more like thinner and like more finer, pronounced and stuff. And the sativa, like it gets you more, creative and euphoric, and it's more of a head high and a psychoactive high. As to which, if you had 100% indica strain, it would be, like a body high, and like people say indica couch, and it's kind of like how they remember which one is which. It gets you nice and relaxed, and calm your depressions and your anxieties, and pain, and stuff with it'll bring down inflammation. It can help with all different types of stuff, and help people who are going through chemotherapy, or whether they have osteoporosis or arthritis, or seizures. It's good for, so is CBD, which is a non-psychoactive component in marijuana, as you mentioned before when you asked me if it was a CBD pen or not.
Yeah, this stuff's pretty good. Can't complain.
Is that what you have right now?
Yeah, this is CBD.
Word, you bought that at a store down there, or?
I did. It was in Miami. It was in Wynwood.
Word.
It was. I did a little bit of research when I was in the store. I looked at some of the companies that they had to offer. I didn't dive too deep into it, but from what I could see, it was a good company. So I went with that one.
How often are you hitting that thing? You like doing it all day, or you kind of just hitting it at night?
No, it's more of a night thing. Sometimes when I wake up, depending on how I lift.
I would suggest one in the morning, or just one puff.
Yeah, it's
gets you out of that cloudiness of the waking up process.
Exactly. It's a 250 milligram cartridge, so there's not a ton in each hit. Regardless, I've probably average like 3 to 5 a day.
Word. Yeah, I take a 30 milligram capsule every morning when I wake up, like on an empty stomach. And it's consistent of coconut oil that's infused. And the thing with coconut oil when it comes to edible marijuana, which is different than smoking marijuana, it's a different high. It has to get broken down by your liver, and then it turns into a different type of compound. I believe it's THC9. Don't call me on that. I'm high. But so I'd say the thing about coconut oil is it gets digested by your liver immediately on contact. So it's like literally not even 10 minutes after I take this pill, I have this urge to burp, and I burp, but I can taste the little weed taste of my burp. It's kind of crazy. I have a fast metabolism nowadays.
That's good, because we could dive into that too. Metabolism and the influence
metabolism.
Yeah, and the influence of stuff like this on your metabolism.
Yeah, I definitely think that it has attributed to my my weight loss. Like I was very when I played football, I was more muscular, and I was very kind of stocky, I guess you could say. And then I definitely slimmed down, and I feel like people always say the munchies, the munchies, the munchies, but I don't see so many fat like stoners. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of it's obviously the opposite. Like I see a ton of skinny stoners. You know what I'm saying? Like it definitely like kind of works as kind of like a green tea would. I'm not sure exactly what would you call that? Something that speeds up your metabolism.
Thermogenic is a word that gets tossed around. But
Word.
I think a big part of it too is because there's definitely people who are heavy who like to smoke a lot.
Yeah, but still, like when you eat, like I feel like it just gets digested faster when you're under the influence. I mean, again, maybe that's just my experience because everyone's body breaks it down, differently.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely see it as a majority among, avid smokers, like people who smoke all day. Like you look at the Snoops and the Wiz, and they're all like,
did you watch that?
You know what I mean?
Did you watch that Joe Rogan Wiz
with Wiz
podcast?
Yeah, I watched that. It was funny.
I watched like half of it the other morning.
He said yeah up like 3,000 times, yo.
Yeah, yeah, yup.
There's a video on Instagram like Wiz posted on his page, and it was like, which yeah up are you? And it was like, yeah, it's all the yeah ups, and I was like, yeah yup, yeah yup, yeah yup. That's funny. And then like it'll get his laugh in the middle.
The crazy thing that I heard on there was the talk about all the mixed martial arts that he does, and it's cool.
Oh yeah,
I'm hearing so many more people talk about it, and it's been a goal of mine in 2019. It's actually on my goal board right here. Is to start jiu-jitsu, and do 3 months of Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
I think that's what he does. I think that's what he said he does.
Yeah, he does.
If I'm not mistaken,
he does some jiu-jitsu, some tai chi, and then like boxing and kickboxing, like MMA style correlation.
Word. Yeah, him and Snoop actually have gotten into the gym. I've noticed, through their social medias, and Snoop just does like the weightlifting and like boxing here and there, hitting the pads and stuff. But Wiz is definitely like super into it. Like I know, like if you listen to the podcast, he spoke of his Joe Rogan podcast. He put on like 30 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. All like pretty much all muscles. You can see like he's jacked down, he's ripped. But speaking on Joe Rogan, like I'm sure he's a big influence on you and why you did this, and like he's definitely an influence on me. I listened to that podcast. I might have even put you onto that podcast. It might have been another thing along with the weed. Not gonna lie,
you did put me on that podcast.
I'll take it.
Nah, bro, you've put me onto a lot of stuff, including CBD and THC and things like that. And that has
for sure.
That has opened my mind so much. And then
freshman year of college,
man. What other time to start, right?
Took some peer pressure, but you were there. Yo, that time you were high for like 4 days. That was not a good time. Or maybe it was a good time. You might have been freaked out though.
It's funny. I think I really was freaked out for the first, like probably 24 hours, especially when I woke up the next morning and I was still
feeling it.
I was still feeling it. I remember waking up and looking at you and being like, "Bro, it's not over. What's going on? What's going? Like, why? What happened? Did I do something wrong?" And
when Jafar came in, you definitely looked scared, bro.
I definitely was for about 4 days, messed up. But after 2, it was like cool, calm, collective. Everything looked funny and I felt funny, and like doing schoolwork was weird. I remember sitting in the library and just like things were going on.
Now being there.
Yeah, it was strange. You have that like outside perspective, right? You like
almost. Yo, I feel like that energy at that school was mad weird. Like that energy at the school could do shit.
It absolutely was. I mean,
I don't know if you ever watched. You're not big into TV, so you never watched Lost. but Lost is like a crazy series where they're on the island and the energy is just all distorted and crazy. It can do all different types of crazy shit, and that's what happened at Anna Maria. Like the energy was nuts.
I gotta stand up. I'm getting a little loose. I need a 7-minute stretch.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Dude, the energy there was weird. It was not just us. And do you remember going through the tunnel?
I like the shirt, by the way. Speaking of Anna Maria, you got the 33 on your shirt.
Thank you, bro. I wore it for a reason.
It might be backwards on the recording. I'm not sure.
It will be backwards on the recording, but it's all good. Like I said, bro, you have probably imprinted and impacted me more than anybody in my direct circle, for sure.
I appreciate that, bro. It's big praise coming from you.
Nah, that's real. Like everything I do has, I mean, Joe Rogan, this stuff, like smoking, just the perspective and the insight on Providence and learning about all that and learning about the Native American presidents in Rhode Island and how I grew up on Pawnee, bro. Remember that day we figured out that I grew up
Pontiac
Ave and what that meant, and then it was like those.
I grew up off of Reservoir Ave and then Niantic Ave. You know what I mean? And then come to find out, you know, just when you cross that bridge over, so they're over by Mashapog Pond, which is another Native American term. That all that land over there, you know, surrounding the pond was, you know, Native Americans were, you know, all throughout there, you know, just, you know, settled. And that was where they lived, you know what I mean? That was their thing. So everyone else came along, you know, all that stories. Whatever story you want to believe.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of theories out there, you know, to be politically correct.
Dude, so it seriously, like, the other thing too is the numbers, right? And just everything that I've noticed over the last couple of years is just that conscious awareness of stuff like that and how it
spiritual numbers and energies tie together very nicely.
Yeah, and when you can become aware of it, it can have such meaning to you, right? And it can obviously, as humans, we look for that meaning. That's what we're always looking and striving to do. And that's why we have a name for everything, because everything has some sort of meaning. We have a binaural. There you go.
You could see that. Damn.
We have
on the blooper reel here.
We want to attach something to everything, and I think that's a big fallout on our part as humans. But I also think
for sure
it allows us to move forward. So it's this weird combination. And that is stuff psychoactively and psychologically that I'm learning from this book that I've been reading. I was telling you about.
Yeah. What was the name? Why We Hate? Is that the one or the food one? Okay.
This book is crazy. Understanding, curbing, and eliminating hate in ourselves and our world. I just got to the last chapter last night, so I'm amped to finish it out.
Word.
I'm going to leave it at home when I get there. So I promised Sabrina could have it first. So Sabrina's gonna read it.
That's all good, bro.
And then she can obviously hand that right over to you. You can read it.
Thank you, man. Speaking of that, I have my summer reading list. I knew you would whip out a book throughout this. So I have something that you said you were going to send one to me. So I would send this one, A People's History of Sports in the United States by, it says 2050 Years of Politics, Protest, People, and Play. It's by a sports writer, Dave Zirin. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. I'd never heard of him until I actually got this as a gift from an English professor when I was working at Brown before I got this new job. So it's got Muhammad Ali on the cover. I guess he has a couple of Muhammad Ali books And I know he has a book about one of the gentlemen who were in the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City, who stood on the podium, the African American sprinters who put up the Black Pride, Black Power fist with the gloves on.
Yeah.
And there was another person. I know he has a book with Michael Bennett, and then somebody else. I'm not sure. And then I have Richard Wright. I have Native Son. It's about a young kid in the south side of Chicago in the 1940s. And it's getting turned into a movie this year, I believe, by a young director. And I think they're gonna put it in like more of a, I don't know if they're gonna put it in like the 2000s or the 90s or the 80s, but I think it's gonna be more of a more recent vibe.
Current
like they tend to do. And I have Trick Baby, which is the second book by Iceberg Slim. Remember if anybody watched the Dave Chappelle new Netflix specials that he put up, one of them was he talked about Iceberg Slim's first book. He's a pimp. He was born in 1918, and he started to be a pimp in 1936. And this one is it's called the story of a white. He was a light-skinned pimp, and he passed off as a white person because his eyes were a different color, like his eyes were light, like a blue, I believe. So his name was White Folks, and and so I just thought that was a cool thing. I picked that up at Brown as well.
At the library?
Yeah, at the library. I worked at the science library over at Brown for about a year and a half until I got this new job. So yeah, that's my summer reading list. I'll be taking a little break from my other endeavor just to get some reading and live for a little while and then jump back into it.
Yeah. So your other endeavor you're referring to is writing, I'm assuming.
Yes, writing. I'm just diving into a little bit of a fiction work that it was a seed back in I want to say middle school, if not, it was like very late elementary school. That it was just a little off the cuff, write something down idea that I had, while I was laying in bed probably. One night before I fell asleep for school in the morning. And then I kind of just took like the main little focus of that little seed, and then from my, I'm now 23 going on 24 in a couple of months, all my experience and coming at it from that perspective, because the main character in it is, I don't want to get too much detail, but the main character in it is he's in high school, so I'm kind of at an age where I can look at where I was at in high school and kind of put myself into maybe that person's shoes, you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, I get that. That's what's up, because it's not too far in the past, and it's not you're not diving too deep into anything in particular that happened to you, but you just understand kind of your mindset at that time and how.
So I can relate. I can relate to the character. Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
For sure.
So when we were talking about that creativity, you feel like that clearly is a part of who you are too. And like I feel like it's a part of me. Brard feels like that's a part of him. Like
for sure.
We have such a creative group. And then even like
pretty much everyone that I have like around me, when it comes to associates and friends and stuff, like not necessarily family, but like you have Seth on your side, who's like a crazy chef or whatever. And then
Jeff blows glass and makes
Jeff with the blowing glass, like that's pretty crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's art.
But just like every one of my friends, I feel like, I mean, there might be one or two there who kind of just are just surrounded by people like that. But it seems like everybody has a talent around me, or, you know, something that they, you know, kind of have something that they gravitate to that makes them a creative in their own way. And I think that definitely attributes to, I feel weirdly like the year that we were born, like the era we were born in, it's kind of weird. And then like the area, you know, because kind of like taps into like that energy, the energy plane and how it relates to the energy and the universe and stuff at that time, and our, you know, direction on the poles or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Something is
think everything's so weird.
Well, that's
so much shit to think about.
Right, is we're trying to put a name on it, like I was talking about before, right? We're trying to put like a meaning behind it and a name to it so that we can conversate about it. But the reality is there's so much that we don't know that you can't even talk about some of that stuff in it.
So much that we don't know.
I was having a conversation with Brard the other day, and we were talking about how you don't know what you don't know, and what you do feel is so hard to cultivate and share with people, that so many people get stress and anxiety that we talked about earlier on the podcast. And I think a lot of that stems from, in like our language specifically, not that it stems from this, but there is a correlating scenario and thing that you can compare it to, is that in a lot of different other languages, there are multiple words for the word love, right?
Word?
Yeah, so especially in Native American culture, in Spanish culture, from what I know, different Latin American languages have more than one word for love, because when you think about it, people say, you know, oh my God, I love that show. Or, oh my God,
yeah, there's different context.
I love Starbucks. Yes, I love my mom. Yes, I love my husband. I love my dog. I love my cat. I love this, you know, thing on my wrist. You can't love your watch as much or the same way that you love the person that gave birth to you and raised you. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's two totally different types of feelings, but we have so easily and culturally in America just decided to lump them all together, that it doesn't allow for our feelings to be shared correctly and, you know, as efficiently as possible.
I feel like that's definitely a good point. I never, you know, I mean, I guess I kind of thought of it like that, but then you definitely put it into, articulate it into a way that's kind of more honed in and, you know, honed and more articulated,
more digestible, like a like a nutrition guy would say.
Yeah, like a nutrition guy. That was a coconut oil Snapple fact right there. Yo, so what are some podcasts that you're into? Like, you go first. What are some podcasts you like? Obviously Joe Rogan. That's both of ours. But yeah, probably number one for both of us.
Joe Rogan is number. I'll go with the top 5. I'm not going to put them in any order.
Word.
Joe Rogan, right? The Joe Rogan Experience. And actually, before I name the rest, the one thing that got me to really take a big quantum leap and step with this podcast and be like, yeah, I'm just going to do it, was the fact that I had this idea to look up on YouTube the first ever Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh yeah, and he's just there with fucking Red Band.
Yeah,
they're sitting side by side in the fucking couch.
And got like he's like, yo, is it playing? Yo, can you see me? What's going on? And then he's like, oh, I've
never watched it yet.
I got 50 viewers. He's like, what's up? How we doing? Yeah. And then he's got
to watch.
bubbles all over the screen. He's got like flames. You know how you can add effects on the screen?
Yeah.
He's got like bubbles coming up like he's in SpongeBob. He's got like flames and he's like, oh, I'm burning. And like, yo,
I have to watch that now.
Acting a fool for like an hour. And then like I watched that and I was like, what am I waiting for? Like,
yeah, like he's just fucking
like,
off right now. Now he has like over 1,000 episodes and over 1 million subscribers.
Yeah,
on every single episode. You know what I mean?
He's got to have probably the #1 podcast in the country. I can't think of anybody else.
He has the #1, and like with like the iHeart Radio Podcast Awards, like they don't give him the awards because they know that he won't even fucking go to the award show. They're like, yo, because I'm doing this like to talk to people. I like to talk to people.
He just likes,
and that's all he does.
He likes to learn and he likes to share that stuff.
And not even, to like think about it like this because, both of us don't really think about it like that, but he gets so much fucking money from that show, dude. It's crazy how much money he's made off that show. He gets like over $50 million a year off of that podcast.
Whoa. I did not.
Do you know that? I think it might be 40 million. It might be 40 million, but he gets $40 million a year for that podcast.
That's crazy. I mean,
and it might even be more than that because they never reveal like how much money they actually make on that.
Yeah, they're not.
It's always downside
information, but
yeah.
I mean, I had no idea it was that much. I didn't realize any of that. But
yeah, he's big time,
From that perspective, too, is like he's really doing what he wants to do. Guaranteed, he puts a ton of time into that podcast, and if he just stopped doing shows, he would stop getting checks. So
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It seems not so nonchalant with him though.
Yeah, no, I mean it's,
you know what I mean?
Nature. He's been doing it for so
like
long.
he's like a Larry King or like a fucking Howard Stern at this point.
Yeah, he puts no effort into it almost. It just seems so natural for him. But
those might be the three like kings of all like the three different medias. There's like the radio, and then there's the podcast, and then there's the TV. Might be those guys are the best three interviewers, or like the most famous interviewers. You got Joe Rogan on the podcast, you got Howard Stern on the radio, and then you got Larry King on TV.
That's a good way to look at it. I didn't think about that.
They might be the three.
That might
the three-headed Mount Rushmore of talking media. You
So,
could throw Oprah in there just to be gender inclusive.
Yeah, I mean, not even just to be gender inclusive, but to be
just because she's a legend too.
Just to be real. Yeah.
Like you can put Ellen on there too, but like Oprah's more well known and had more of a crazy wave. Like that was like Oprah was the shit back in the day. Like my mom used to watch Oprah every day.
That's legit, bro. She influenced and changed a lot of people's lives.
Joe should put anybody's book on that Oprah's book list, and that book is sold out. You can't buy the book anywhere.
My goal.
The thing's on the New York Times bestseller for fucking 60 weeks.
So I'll continue with my like quote unquote Mount Rushmore of podcasts. But I'm gonna do it for one as well. So I'm gonna name top 5: Joe Rogan, Impact. Yeah. The other one is Impact Theory with Tom Bilyeu. That's a big one to listen to. He does Health Theory, Impact Theory. So Impact Theory is more business and mindset. Health Theory is more scientists, doctors, things of that nature in the healthcare field. They just stopped doing relationship theory, but him and his wife, who she also does another podcast and does some work. She's like a world-class artist or a painter. They were doing
that's pretty cool.
Show called Relationship Theory, where they would take questions in from all different platforms, and they would go on about how they deal with stuff with their relationship and how they've built multi-billion-dollar businesses and still have this amazing relationship, even though they work like 80 hours a week.
Word.
I'm from a guy who hasn't been in a relationship in like 6 years. It's just from an outsider perspective, just to look and be like, holy crap, like there's so much that you can look around at other people's relationships and just see them doing wrong. And 90% of it comes down to communication. So
For
just
sure.
to know that like that's something that I want to come into a relationship and be able to bring to the table, and want someone else to bring to the table is dope. So that podcast is really cool.
Word.
Rogan, Impact Theory, which they have a couple different things with.
Yeah. What else? What we got?
We got, I believe it's called The Author of Your Own Story. And
Okay, that sounds cool.
it's called, the other name for it is Daily Growth Hacks, or that's kind of what he terms it. And
Yeah.
he does really cool stuff from mindset, business, nutrition, all these different things. And what he does is each day of the week is a different part of your life. So you have Monday is mind, Tuesday is the body, Wednesday is the soul, Thursday is business or school for someone that's in school, and Friday is relationships and how to work on relationships and building relationships and keeping them. And then on Saturday and Sunday, he does a mixed bag where he does a mix up, whatever it may be, whatever may have come up on the, like during the week. It might have been a hot topic or something that someone talked to him about. He's basically a lifestyle coach. So he's teaching people anywhere from like millionaires and millionaires to business owners or lawyers, attorneys, people that just want to get healthy. He's doing all that sort of stuff, and he just provides daily insight. It's anywhere from like 5 minutes to like 10 or 15. So it's really digestible because it's not super long, but he also gives you an action to take at the end of each one. So you listen, and then he says, all right, in order to, manifest this and start to use this, I want you to do this quick activity. And he tells everybody to keep a journal that listens, and basically like a diary. And he talks about how that's important. And I think that's very important to just write stuff down and be able to tap into, that stuff and get it on paper. So that's definitely number 3, or one of my top 3 is The Author of Your Own Story. And then 4 is the one that I use for my business. We have an app called the Unfranchised Media app, and it's basically like our own little podcast platform, which is really dope. It's anybody and everybody who has talked or done like a power profile or is well known in our business and is one of the speakers or one of the very successful people. They are always talking at events and talking in different things about different things, how to build the business. Very similar concepts, like the nutrition side, they talk about why certain products and ingredients are healthy. On the business side, how to think more business minded, how to hack your brain and hack your discipline and be able to, cultivate a life that you want and stuff like that. So that's super dope because it's people from all over the country that at other events talked, and we basically record it and you put it on the app and then you can just listen to it anywhere. So that's really
dope.
Yeah, no, I love that. I listen to at least one of those a day, sometimes more. That's like,
so those are your top 4 right there.
Those are my top 4 right there.
Right.
So actually, before I ask you about yours, I have one more that I completely forgot about. And I was like, no, I said I was going to name 5 for a reason, but I couldn't remember at the time. The Ben Greenfield Fitness Podcast.
Right. Friend of Joe Rogan. Yeah.
Yes. Big fan of that one.
Quickly go into that because conveniently speaking of technology, my phone is dying.
Okay. All right. So we'll wrap up real quick, but the Ben Greenfield Podcast, doctors, physicians, health and wellness, fitness guys all over the country, all over the world, all over the globe. He was named
Right.
the #1 personal trainer in America in 2013. I think and I hope I'm going to get the chance to meet him in a couple months, which I'm really pumped about. And I might be
Really?
alongside him with somebody.
That's awesome, man.
But
I hope that falls through for you. That'd be pretty dope.
yeah, man, I'm really excited. I hope
That's
so.
definitely a milestone. That would be a milestone in your your field, your work.
Yeah, to work alongside him would be amazing. But let's hear yours.
Right.
What's your?
All right, yeah. So I'll rattle some off real quick. Obviously, Joe Rogan. I also love the Joe Budden podcast. That's like a hip hop podcast. Joe Budden's a rapper, and him and his friends, Rory and Maul and Parks. They talk about just hip hop culture and then like daily culture, but like from a hip hop culture perspective. And it's really cool to hear. It's kind of just like barber shop talk. Like it's just like shooting the shit.
Okay.
It's cool. It's like usually like an hour and a half type deal. I listened to recently. I started listening to Mike Tyson's podcast, Hot Boxing. So like he's moving into the cannabis industry. He has Tyson Ranch, and then that's like his cannabis brand. And then he's in Canada doing stuff in Canada with illegal cannabis over there, and he's capitalizing on that. And he's also making like where his grow facility is in California. He's making like an actual ranch, like that's gonna be a vacation, like basically paradise, weed friendly paradise, which is gonna be super dope for the culture, especially in California. Yeah, for sure. The West Coast is gonna be pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And people like him who were athletes, or people who are actors, or people who are influencers. They're getting in on this because it's such a it's a green rush, as it's a greatest term for that, you know what I mean, because it basically is like the gold rush. Like this is a wonderful opportunity for definitely a lot of people. But then also, speaking of weed, Be Real, he has the hot box where he's inside his famous Cadillac, and they're just smoking out a bunch of people, and some people are tapping out and dying and all this and that. I like Your Mom's House, which is Tom Segura. He's a comedian, and then his wife, who's also a stand-up comedian, Christina Pajitsky. They just kind of fuck around and watch like weird internet clips and stuff, and they're just real goofy energy. You can see that there's a genuine connection between them. It's not just a bullshit relationship. Like they have it all out there with each other. It's pretty cool.
That's what's up.
Yeah, and he's a big friend of Joe Rogan, so he's on the podcast a lot.
I remember watching one of those.
Yeah, and then another comedy podcast I listen to is Congratulations with Chris D'Elia. He's just like he's such a weird guy, and he has like this. He just goes on these weird rants, and he films them in a room in like a corner in this fucking mansion, like a weirdo, just alone. Just him and like an engineer, and with a microphone, and he's just a fucking weirdo. It's just hilarious to watch. Basically that's it. Like I mean, there's a bunch of others that I can name off, but those are kind of like the top that I'm into right now, that I'll pop in and listen to when I'm at work, or just out around the house, or getting going in the morning or something.
That's I listen to a lot during downtime. Things like cooking, cleaning, driving, working out.
Yeah. It makes idle time not idle,
Yeah, it's just an easy way to digest information and make it a reality for you and get information into your head, which is a lot, and it's a lot better than
I agree, sir. I agree. Yeah.
Yo,
the black mirror, as they call it. I think that's why they called the show that. Because when you close your phone, when you close your phone, it looks like a black mirror.
Exactly. And you actually look at yourself and see what's going on. Before I ask your last question, toast.
Oh, what's up?
Real quick.
Oh, yeah, let's get a toast.
Yeah, toast.
Shibuya.
All right.
What do you got for me?
I want you to tell them if you want where to follow you or where to get in contact with you if anybody wants to connect.
All right. Well, I'm not hitting on my phone number on here. Just kidding. So if you want to find me anywhere, it's on social media. I'm at Mr. Eric Gomes. That's ERICGOMES. No spaces, no capital, no nothing, no dots, no periods, no commas, no shit, anything. I don't really use my Twitter, so you can leave me a message that I'll look at in 3 months. You can send me a Snapchat that I'll watch and then reply to probably. And then you can follow me on Instagram. I will contact you on Instagram. I'll definitely respond either way. And I'll follow you back. All that good shit.
So if you want to hit him up on Instagram.
Yeah, you could do that through my DMs, definitely. No, don't do that. Don't be creepy.
Yeah, please don't.
Isn't that weird that that's how relationships are nowadays? Like, dude, everyone meets on the internet.
We'll save that.
That's just a weird thing.
Conversation.
It was a weird thing in the 2000s. Like, yo, I met this lady on the internet for Match.com, guys.
Okay.
And then now it's everything.
Now
all right, I'm on a...
But...
Yeah. I'm high. I'm going on rants.
Nah, you're good. I know your phone's gonna die. I would just want to close out before you do.
Do it up.
So I just want to thank you, bro, for helping me with this and being.
Thank you for inviting me, sir.
I mean, I think this is gonna be really cool. I think this is gonna be a big hit.
Yeah, I think you'll continue with it. I think you'll like it.
I mean, you're going to be on the show.
It felt,
this isn't
me.
Yeah,
no, for sure.
This is we.
Yeah, it felt cool and natural. I liked it.
No, that's 100%.
It was organic.
Yeah, for sure. So my last question for you, if you have a conversation for 30 minutes with 5 different people, dead or alive, who would they be?
Alive? Fuck.
Dead or alive.
Dead or alive. Gotcha. Word. All right. So we're putting Bob Marley on that list right now.
Got you.
Let me get Will Smith.
Yep.
Let me get a conversation with Roger Williams. I want to get down to the bottom of that. Was he a good guy or was he not?
Okay.
Let's talk to who do I want to talk to in the weed world right now? Yeah. Let me get a conversation. Whoa, I'll take 2 conversations with the weed world. I'll get one with the OG Willie Nelson, and then I'll get one with the OG Snoop.
That's a top 5.
That's a good top 5 right there. I like that.
A dope top 5. I definitely share a couple of those.
Word. Damn, I should have put Joe Rogan in there. He'll sneak in there. He'll bump somebody one day.
We'll let him know that he can set up a conversation with you at some point.
Word. I don't need to talk to Willie Nelson, actually. I'll bump him for Joe Rogan.
All right.
Sorry, Willie. Don't even know what any of his songs. So
one-eyed Willie's out the game.
He has 2 eyes, man. Don't jinx him.
I'm
gonna smoke his eye out.
Nah, you're right. I'm sorry. All right. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, sir. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, of course.
Much love, my dude.
Can't wait to see you.
Good luck on this endeavor.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, word.
I'll see you in a couple.
Can't wait to see you in a couple of
days,
weeks or days. Yeah. From where this was recorded.
True.
I just wanted to say that I wanted to say this during this recording that this is not where you were recorded.
True.
That didn't make sense. All right. So let me break it down in a different way. Today is Wednesday, and it's not going to be on a Wednesday.
Yeah, and we'll have already chilled once this is let out to
The
the
third game of the NBA Finals was tonight. Yo, imagine, I was thinking today, I got to update that Vince Carter's coming back for his 22nd year. Imagine he was on the finals right now. Fucking Raptors, bro. What a shame. He should be there.
He should, but
he should have been traded and retired there. But whatever. He'll retire for a day like they always do, like fucking weirdos. Like that counts. Yo, I was a Celtic, bro. I was wearing a suit. I was in the garden. Sign the papers, bro. Nah, I love the truth. I even have love for Rayon. I catch a lot of flack for that.
Yeah, you can.
Shout out to Erin Rondo. She fucking shames me every time I wear that jersey.
I'm gonna tell her to lay some slack off for that.
Because like she doesn't hit those threes. We wouldn't
have those championships if it wasn't for Ray.
I was gonna say, if you wasn't hitting those threes, you're not winning that championship, man.
Yeah. But
all right, my man. It was good seeing you. Can you pound it up?
Yeah, got you, bro.
Bam. Word.
All
right, dude. Peace.
Please, y'all, if you were able to take anything from today's podcast, please share it with your friends, family, and anybody looking to live that free and limitless lifestyle. Or you could even write a review or leave a comment down below for us. It'll be greatly appreciated. Also, the LT360 podcast is partnered with lots of awesome companies, and we do not partner lightly. These brands are all well approved from a moral, ethical, and product standpoint. So please feel free to do your research, but I do not think you'll be disappointed in what you find. Today's podcast is brought to you by the Limitless Theory Apparel Store. Limitless Theory Apparel will provide you with anything from dad hats, t-shirts, tank tops, beach towels, and duffel bags with high quality gear and a big purpose. So I dare you to read the product description on any of those products. They have real deep meaning in there. You can check those out at teespring.com/limitlesstheory and use code LT10 at checkout for 10% off your entire order. Secondly, the podcast today was brought to you by Isotonics. Isotonics.com/limitlesstheory is where you'll find all the top of the line world's most advanced nutraceuticals that I've been using for more than 4 years. They have changed my life. I haven't been sick in 5 years. I was able to get rid of patella tendonitis, get through a broken foot without any pain medications. These things have done wonders for me, and I'm sure they'll do the same for you. Check out some of the reviews at isotonics.com, and if you choose to buy anything, go to isotonics.com/limitlesstheory and use code 10OFFMA. That is 10 capital OFF capital M capital A. 10OFFMA, all capitals, for 10% off at isotonics.com, the world's most advanced nutraceuticals. And lastly, today's podcast is brought to you by greenmarket.com. Green Market is a wholesale market that'll provide you wholesome products by cutting out the middleman at wholesale prices. There are no memberships fees, and there's a Green Points program. They are going to save you some serious green, if you know what I mean, and they are going to provide affordable access to healthy products and reduce the carbon footprint of online shopping. So support the U.S. farmers and green businesses everywhere by shopping at greenmarket.com. And if you are a customer of mine on shop.com, which is free to sign up for and it'll take you less than 5 minutes, you will earn up to 3% cash back on anything you purchase on greenmarket.com. So if you are interested, head over there, check it out. If there's anything you like and you want to earn some cash back and save some money while shopping, let me know. Send me a direct message, Facebook message, text, call, email, whatever it may be. Alrighty. Once again, this podcast is a reality for me, the guests, and yourself, the listener, because of these established partnerships. So please continue to support these awesome brands and people. Remember, we are, life is limitless. I'll talk to you next time. Peace.